Are you referred to as a bounty hunter?
In most cases, I'm referred to as a bounty hunter. In the state of Ohio, the actual term bounty hunter is bandit. So the actual political term that you refer to me in Ohio would be officer of the court or agent. In other states, they have different names, but specifically Ohio, I'm considered officer of the court. But to the world, we're bounty hunters.
Now, what is your personal opinion of that phrase, bounty hunter?
I think it explains exactly what the job title is. It's a bounty, and you're hunting it. You're either trying to make some money or protect the money. It describes it as it is, as a whole, totality.
Do you feel a good connotation to that phrase or bad connotation to it?
You know what? Now that you mention that, some people, when you hear the term bounty hunter, they immediately revert back to the 1800s, where you have a lot of people I'm not gonna say a lot of people. There's some people who look at me as a slave catcher. They call me a slave catcher, okay? And that's back in the days in the 1800s where bounty hunters were actually people who looked for slaves that ran away. Obviously, things have progressed, and it's not like that no more, but you have those who are still engaged in that old ways, them old times, and they call you a slave catcher, and that's not really the case. So it could be looked at in different perspectives, but reality is it's 2024. It's not like that anymore.
Now, you do use this phrase on your Instagram bio as a description of yourself. And for those in the audience getting to know you for the very first time, care to share your screen name on IG as well?
Okay. On IG, it's simple. @bountytank. I keep it really simple, easy to find on all platforms.
You mentioned this may be politically incorrect in the state of Ohio, but just the phrase bounty hunter, winding the questions just about that alone, is that a phrase you personally embrace, you love hearing perhaps, or you tired of, dislike hearing perhaps?
I embrace that term because that's what the vast majority of the audience knows it by bounty hunter. If you start saying fugitive recovery agent or agent, they start confusing it with different law enforcement. So I typically embrace it, but in the state of Ohio, I will correct it like I'm officer of the court. But as everyone knows, it's about bounty hunters. So yeah.
Now, what's it really like in the state of Ohio being an officer of the court?
What's it like?
What's it really like?
Yo, it's gritty. It's intense. You deal with a lot of drug addicts. You deal with a lot of drug dealers. It's intense, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's very intense. The economy, it's at a very low point, so there's not a lot of people making money in Ohio. The economy is completely different. So you get an environment where it's very hostile. There's people addicted to drugs, so it's a very hostile and very serious environment. Yeah.
Is it easy or hard to be an officer of the court?
I'm gonna say it's hard to be an officer of the court with the color of my skin. The community looks at me sometimes as the police, and as you know, the police in certain parts of the hood don't typically, they don't agree with each other. So you have some people with the mentality of, he's the police, we don't mess with him, I don't fuck with him. And reality is, I'm a bondsman first. The people that I'm going after, I bonded them out of jail. They've committed a crime, they're in jail, they don't have enough money to get out. We loan them money to get out of jail. The contract says they have to appear to court. If they don't appear to court, the court takes the money from us. So at the end of the day, it's all about making sure we're okay with the money.
And on that note, you do music as well.
I do music. I'm actually in the streets. I'm not a street guy. I'm on the other side of it, but I'm in the streets. I'm in the streets with the goons, the drug dealers, anybody you can think of, I'm in those streets with people. So I talk about my life from a different perspective.
And you've mentioned that you're a recording artist as well in that same bio on Instagram, but with people misconstruing you as a cop when you're trying to capture someone to get your money back as a bondsman, does that pose a hurdle with your music?
Hurdle, I would say a mountain. The acceptance of me doing music because I wear a badge has been one of the most serious obstacles I have ever experienced. But it's nothing I can't conquer. I'm the first of my kind. There's no other person that's hunting and doing music. So when you have uncharted territory, you're going to have people that hate. You're going to have people who are very confused. They're nervous, and that just comes with the business when you're navigating through uncharted territory. And that's just what it is. It's been a hard road, but I'm gonna continue to navigate through it, and I'm gonna get through it, and we're gonna make something successful out of this.
Now, what makes a great officer of the court?
Okay. What makes a great officer of the court is, first and foremost, you're not in this business for the wrong reasons. You're in this business because you enjoy it, and you have to understand that you impact people's lives. A lot of people that you're dealing with have made mistakes in life. They may be battling with drugs, so you have to understand what you say, how you treat them will impact them for the rest of your life. That is a very major part of this. You have to understand that.
Any other characteristics that separates the great officers of the court from the not so great?
One thing that will separate you from great officers of the court, bounty hunters, whatever you want to refer to them as, is patience. If you don't have patience, you will not be successful. There's some times where you have to sit at a house for 24 hours. You can't leave that car. You can't leave that area because if you leave, you start looking suspicious. You have to pee in a jug. If you have patience in this business, you will be successful. If you don't, you won't.
Anything else characteristic-wise?
Characteristic-wise, you have to be a people person. You have to know how to speak to people. You have to know how to speak to different cultures. You have to be able to relate to people. You have to understand that you are human and they are human. If you look at them less than you, you won't relate. There won't be no type of connection. And if you treat them wrong or treat them less than you, you have to understand you're going to see them again. They're not going to jail forever. You're going to see them in the streets. And if they remember you treated them wrong, you're going to have an issue. Always treat people with respect, no matter what.
And just for context, how long have you been an officer of the court for?
What is it, 2024? This is my 13th year. I've been doing this for 13 years. Yes.
Now, in your opinion, from what you've experienced, what's the biggest mistake officers of the court make?
Personally, I think the biggest mistake that officers of the court make is thinking that the badge protects them. In the streets, that shit doesn't mean nothing. And a lot of them get confused and just thinking that because they have a gun on their hip and they have a badge and a vest on, that they can talk to people any kind of way, they can do what they want to do, and that is not the case. That is a very misconstruement.
And have you made this same mistake yourself, or just going off observation here?
I've made the same mistake. Going retrospect, when I was speaking about the Detroit situation when I got shot at, that was because I was there, passing out warning signs, and a group of guys said, hey, you need to get off our block. And I thought because this when I was young, that because I got this badge on, that you can't tell me nothing. And immediately, probably about 20 minutes later, they came back and started shooting at me. So this helped me navigate when I was saying, going back to the original question, yes, it does.
Now, Can you name 5 things officers of the court should leave behind in 2024?
That's a good one, man. I might not be able to name 5, but I'm gonna name off the top what I can name.
No problem.
Ego. Definitely have to leave ego alone. Ego is a big situation. Non-compassion. That needs to be left alone. You have to have compassion. You have to have empathy. So I would say non-empathy. Off the top, that's the 3 that I can name. Yeah.
Now, zooming out here once again, I want to ask you some questions just about you here personally.
Okay.
Now, what is the biggest misconception of you at this point?
Ooh, hit me with some deep ones. The biggest misconception is, oh, man. The biggest misconception I would say about me is I'm the police. I'm not the police. If you're committing a crime, I don't recommend it. I would say don't do it, but that's on you. That's your life. I am not a police officer. I'm not the police. I'm not out here fighting crime. I'm not Batman. I specifically only look for people that I bonded out or other bondsmen have bonded out that need my help. That's it.
And where does that misconception stem from?
The misconception stands from, honestly, the streets. In the streets, anybody that has a badge and you're arresting somebody, they're going to look at you like the police. And that's just the mentality. Not all people think that way, but the majority of people in the streets, if you're arresting people, kicking doors in, they look at you as the police. And that's just the mentality. That's just something you had to accept. It's not going to change. And that's something that, it is what it is.
Now, have you lost opportunities because of this misconception?
I don't think I've lost, let me say this. Not to my knowledge. I haven't lost any opportunities because of this, no.
What about musically?
Musically, it's a battle. Who's this guy rapping? Off the top, they see somebody that's a bounty hunter rapping, they're going to just throw you under the bus. They're not going to, nobody listen to that shit. And right off the bat, I am at a deficit. I got to fight my way up. And that's fine. I have my own fan base. I'm going to appeal to the people that like me. That's it. I'm not here to try to appeal to everyone. I'm going to have my lane. I'm going to stay in it. But right off the bat, because of what I do, yes, I'm already at a deficit. I got to prove myself.
Before this interview ends, is there anything else you are not asked fans want to know?
I wasn't asked. I got the new single dropping, Mr. Kickdoor. We dropping that next week. The single basically describes my life, kicking doors in, people owe me money, and that's where we going. Mr. Kickdoor. It's going to be a classic, theme music. It's going crazy. Yeah.
And this outfit that you're currently sporting on camera, is this something that's purchasable, if that's a word, as well with the music?
You definitely go This is exclusive KDU merch. If you don't know what KDU stands for, it's Kick Door University. All right, it's not about just kicking doors in because of my job. It's about kicking doors in of opportunity of people that close doors on you. I'm doing things that no one else has accomplished. I'm in my own lane, so it's Kick Door University on everything. Exclusive merch. Of course, it's on kickdooruniversity.com. And right now, lucky for you guys, we have open enrollment. We're taking everybody to come on in. Come on to the university. Get you a jersey. It's about progression, being successful, and just beating the odds, man. You know what I mean? Fuck adversity, man. We adapt to it, and we eat it.
And as far as the song, going to make an assumption here that it will be available on all digital streaming platforms?
Everything. It's going to be on everything. It's going to be, Martha Stewart's going to play it. That's going to be everywhere.